Hey there, TSOB people, all of you out there desperate for more content. Well, I'm here to help. Zacky Poo is doing vacation stuff. It is the end of December 2022, and family stuff is happening. My family doesn't want anything to do with me. I feel lonely. I thought I'd talk to you. And I do have a topic. So this is going to be a mini episode. It's going to be short and quick, but I was advising a company yesterday doing amazing things with nano filters and blah, 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 blah. And I was acting as the venture capital advisor, trying to help them figure out how they were going to go raise money. And a couple things hit. The first one is, man, I did not listen well enough. I felt really pressed for time, and I wanted to make sure this young lady, had all the value I could possibly get. And so I ended up, after she did her pitch, man, I just talked at her. I just talked, told her exactly what to do and all the things. And that's horrible. What I should have done is ask better questions. So that's the first lesson. If you're interviewing someone to be an advisor for your startup, and what they're doing is telling you how things are without taking the time to actually ask questions to understand your viewpoint. Because by the time we got to the end of it, turned out the thing that we were really kind of pushing back and forth on was probably a really smart idea. And I should have started with the questions. And so, we got there, but we ended up staying on the phone an extra 30 minutes as we were processing it and really trying to figure it out. So that's kind of what I want to go into, is how do you pick your team? How do you pick the team for your startup? And ranging from advisors to board members to first employees. And I thought the best way to do it is to just kind of go through our experiences with Hook Security and use that as a case study. So I sold my first company. I took the money, I stuck it into Hook. I went out there, and the very first thing I looked at is, what is the anatomy of a starting team? This is not like a founding team. This is like the starting team, where you're trying to find out, excuse me, you're trying to find out if you're going to invite anybody else into the game. And so the first person I hired, the first person I wanted to work with, was a stone cold salesperson. We had a concept for a product, but if we couldn't sell it, I had no patience for putting my time and effort into something we couldn't sell, because I just went through my own trials. Excuse me. Woo, I got a little something. I just went through my own trials with my own company that we capped off at about 3 million, because we didn't have an established selling system, and I didn't know, where I could take it next. So I didn't want to build another company like that. So for me personally, I already had the vision, I already had the product in mind, but I needed to figure out product market fit. And what I needed was a stone cold salesperson, someone who would be fearless to cold call people, to go sell a product that wasn't quite there yet, and find out why people were saying yes, why people were saying no. Basically, it was brute force market research, with the whole test is, can we sell it? And so eventually what we did is we found a partnership model that worked for us. And then it became time to organize. And that was about a 3-month period. So about 3 months, Brad Powell just picked up the phones and called people. It was amazing to watch. I am not somebody who can do that. Or rather, I'm not somebody who will do that. He's somebody who thrives on it. Then we brought in the CEO, and that's where Zach came in, because I was like, oh, we have a thing. We need somebody who can organize, build teams, and do all the other stuff. So when I looked at who was going to run the company, what I wanted was somebody who knew how to build teams successfully, that helped each other out, and that eventually took over systems and built without the CEO in the room. And that's the thing that he has a track record of doing, is building companies that run themselves. So I wanted him involved at the very beginning, because we can get there a little faster. And that was okay. That's a good, so far I'm proud of me. And then we looked at our advisors, and oh man, that's where we made some tactical mishaps, right? And what I mean by that is, we didn't know what we needed, so we just invited anyone who seemed like they were smart and had a track record and a powerful opinion, right? I don't know if that resonates with anybody, but you don't know what you're doing, and so you're desperate for help. And here's this really, really smart person with a track record, and everyone else tells you they're very, very smart. And then you begin to give away equity, or you begin to spend money you don't have access to, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, let me summarize the first phase. The first phase is, can this company exist? And you need somebody who has a vision, somebody who understands a product, somebody who's willing to go test selling it to the market. And then finally, you need somebody who's going to, wrap it all together and manage the next stage. So I kind of think of that's the person that you hand the baton off to in a relay race. Then the next phase is you're building advisors who are going to give you access to either the capital or customers. You don't care about anything else. You are the expert in your product. You don't need more product experts. What you need are people who have access to people who can fund you, or you need access to people who can get you customers. That means they fund you, right? So those are the only things that you want. Now, you could have vanity advisors, but those are super overrated. I've never seen someone go, my gosh, you have Steve Jobs on your advisory board. I mean, he is dead, but that was impressive, right? So where I'm going with that is that people don't get funded because of their advisors. You might get in the front door, but then that's what I'm saying. An advisor who gets you in the front door of a investor, that's appropriate. A person who is famous in your industry and makes it look like, oh, hey, he's paying attention to me. That's not good enough. Don't put that person on your advisory board. And then speaking of boards, if you're raising money, chances are you're going to be building a board. And if you're building a board, you don't want to have vanity people on your board. A startup board is different than a scale-up board. And a startup board is, again, anyone who's actually put money in and has skin in the game, or people who can help you get customers, or people give you a competitive advantage on doing a thing. So yeah, be very, very careful who you put into your team at the beginning. Real quickly after you have all that done, the two most important people that you need to look at are human resources and finance. We really began to catch traction when we brought Kent on board as a fractional CFO. How you present your spreadsheets and your numbers to potential investors or even internally to the board really is the only way to effectively communicate the progress you're having in the company. Because when you put things in a spreadsheet, it is now objective data that's maybe based off of subjective observations, but at least now it's objective data that people can move around. And what happens is that your advisors, your board, your investor base gets fatigued from your high energy and like, oh, it's going to be the next thing, right? And eventually they're like, yeah, we believe you. Now show us the numbers. And so you need to make sure that you have some kind of fractional CFO or some type of financial person who can build pro formas that can project where you're going, and then get on a call with really, really smart finance people and defend the position that this person decided to take. And then finally, that HR person, man, once this thing catches, once your business begins to go, the most difficult thing is going to be finding the people who you are going to put in your company at a pace quick enough that keeps up with your growth, right? So let's say that you get over the hill and, oh my gosh, you got product market fit, and it's not smooth. It's not like a rocket ship. What it is more like a bunch of bumps. You're like boom, 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 boom. And now as you're going, you're like, oh, we need to add another salesperson. Oh, we need to add a customer success person. Wait, we need another product guy. We need somebody who can do the technology. And you discover your need, and the pain is what kind of educates you. And without a really good HR person who can do recruiting, who can do onboarding, who can help manage, it gets really, really tough. It gets real tough to grow, because most of the time you're going to be hiring wrong people, and those people are going to need to go. And that's sad but true. But unfortunately, you don't know enough about what your company is to make good hiring decisions yet. So that's I think that's really what I wanted to get to today, is that you're brand new at this company, and this company's brand new, especially if you're a startup inside of the VC world. And when you are interviewing people, you remember you've got a couple phases here. You've got your startup phase, and then you've got your we're ready to scale up phase. And startup phase is all about those initial people. It's the visionary, it's the product person, it's the salesperson. Then you hand it off to the I organize everything and can get things done person. I can hire the right people, and I can organize your finances and make sure that we're talking in a language everyone can understand. Then if you look over at your advisors, you want people who bring you capital or they bring you customers. And then if you look at your board, you want people who can validate and have observational awareness inside of the company and make smart decisions, meaning they kind of know what you're doing. They bring capital and they bring customers. It's all about capital and customers at the beginning. Only after you have successfully capitalized the company and successfully brought your first team to a point where everyone's getting paid and everybody's making money and you've got a little bit of traction, that's when you get to take a deep breath, exhale, and then the real work starts and business fun. All right, guys. This has been a mini episode of TSOB with just me, Lonely Adam, looking for Zach and yet not finding him. Hey, I hope you enjoyed it. This was kind of fun. Let's hang out.